Hi there. My name is Trudy Salinas, and Christy asked me to share with you some tips on inviting. So, before the pandemic, I never did anything online. I did everything face to face, person to person, and I could share a million tips to invite that way. But really, probably more timely right now would be to learn just some things that have been really successful for me since you know, we all got locked down because I literally had zero of my business. Let's say 0.2%. Somebody would, be my friend online and maybe contact me. It happened, but anytime I tried to invite people or prospect online, Facebook specifically, I had zero, zero, zero success. So I had to learn how to pivot, right? And we're sick of that word, but I had to learn how to do something differently because I would do one or two vendor shows a week, and that's how I met people, and that's how I prospected, and that went away. So what was I going to do? Um, One of the things I did do was I went through my most recent 100 contacts that had somehow slipped through the cracks. And we all have them. I had a lot of them because I did a lot of vendor shows, but we all have a list of people that we somehow just never connected with for whatever reason. And um, there it got to a point when you finally did get to the point where you could connect with them, you uh it was embarrassing because it had been too long, right? And you're like, oh, I don't know, it's been such a long time. I don't really feel comfortable calling them. So I took the 100 most recent and I sent an email apologizing for, somehow we weren't able to connect. And I'm sorry for that. Even if the reason was they never answered their phone, I took all the blame and just said, I'm having an online class. And I know at that point it was important to you. Is that something you'd still like to discover or, look into? And then I sent that email. And then 2 hours later, I sent a text message and I left it pretty vague. I just said, "Hey, Jenna," or "Hey, first name. Hey, Jenna, it's Trudy. I sent you an important email a couple hours ago. Did you get it? Let me know." And I left it alone because I knew by leaving it vague like that, either they probably were not going to remember me. They spent, less than 5 minutes with me at a vendor show, but they were probably going to go look for that email and maybe or maybe not respond. From that list, only two people in a year, because I've been texting them ever since then, every month with promotions. Two people only have unsubscribed, and I just enrolled my ninth person from that list since last when I sent out that first email and that first text. There's one way to invite. But then what did I do? I started looking into online vendor events. I looked at my groups that I was in, my personal timeline, which I always did, and I also have a prospecting group. And I had to find a way to funnel people into that prospecting group so they could start learning and getting excited about oils without meeting me. So I really started focusing on vendor events. At my first one, you guys, I was horrible at it. I was just doing, kind of boring posts, and I was getting a little bit of um, play on it. I was lucky in that one of the girls that organizes that show booked a party with me, and she invited a bunch of girls, and that turned into just a cascade of enrollments. And funny enough, she's one of the last people I enrolled. And so it took her all summer to enroll, but I just kept in touch with her. So yeah, my first event, I did do really well, but I just started to look at what the other vendors were doing in direct sales because that's what they do. They do online stuff. They also do in person, but they're really adept at online. So I was looking at their posts and what posts of theirs were getting attention, and how could I create posts for doTERRA that were similar to that so I could get that same attention because I needed to start a conversation. I also decided most people, direct sellers, were trying to sell a bottle of moisturizer or a thing of snail strips or whatever, a lot of retail. I wasn't there to sell a bottle of lavender, nor did I want to. I don't feel good selling a bottle of lavender because somebody thinks I'll sleep good. Because I haven't done my job then because they don't know there's 8 million other things to use lavender for. So I sat down and thought, okay, what do I want my goal to be from this event? And my goal became not enrolling, not selling, random bottles of oil. my goal became booking parties and getting people into my prospecting group, because I knew once I got them in my prospecting group that I could create that conversation with them. So how did I get to that point? Well, I crafted a bunch of great posts, and every day I dedicated myself to going in and creating 3. And a lot of it was just going back through stuff I'd already posted in my group or on my business page and recreating that just a little bit for this group. Um, so I started doing that, and I noticed that all these other vendors were doing games. And I realized that was a really great way to book parties and get people in my prospecting group and talk to people. So I'm going to show you, I'm going to share my screen with you real quick, um, my booking game. And we're not going to talk about this long because we're not talking about bookings right now. But I created this game, and I used the Mexico trip as my inspiration. So I just did let's talk about it. And I did a little verbiage that says, hey, under each taco is a prize. You know, you're going to get a taco plate or a fiesta, and every taco is a winner. So what was the fiesta was whatever the booking prize was I was giving out, which was a diffuser. And you can make it whatever you want. But anybody else that won, they got an ebook. So it didn't cost me a penny, and they got an ebook. So that was a good deal. But here's what really, really worked for me, you guys. And this was my prospecting game. So this was played like Battleship. And I chose 10 squares, and you can change it. You can make it 5, you can make it 2, you can make it whatever. I chose 10 because I wanted to talk to a lot of people. And so if they won, if they got a hit, they won a remedy bag. And what's a remedy bag? Let me share that with you. This is a remedy bag. It's a little bag with 2 little vials in it, or maybe some deep blue, that's going to help stuff, you know, sleep and rest. So you're putting just everyday kind of oils in here, but things that are really going to give them a moment. And so when I did that prospecting game, well, what happened to that? When they won, I sent them to a Google form to fill out, and it was their like name, their email, their phone number. So it's time to call them, and the list of all the ailments that we always list. They're on the back of all the stuff, you know, digestive issues, metabolic issues. I'm running out of time. Other things, right? And best time of day to call them or text them. And then I would call them because the remedy bag was personal to them. So I was going to find out if they had, you know, allergies or whatever they were going through, and just giving them like the 10 questions or the 60-second enrollment, if you follow that. And quite often during that conversation of their prize, I enrolled them right there, or I would send them samples, 2 little vials based on their specific concerns. And then the follow-up would happen. And from there, I would either, you know, if they didn't enroll, I would invite them to my next online class or party. I started calling them parties because everybody wanted to party last year. And, or I also invited them into my group so they could learn more about the remedy samples that they had gotten and all kinds of stuff. So it was twofold. So it really became a very good way for me to invite people without feeling gross about it. And, you know, I focused on getting those my focus was getting them into something, either booking a party, class, or getting in my group, or enrolling them right on the spot. Another great way too is on your personal timeline. If you you know, do a post about something work related, I'm not going to get into what kind of post to do now, I don't have time. But when somebody comments, you know, like if you're doing Diamond Club or Silver Club, make a big post about it and say how honored you are to be in it. You're so excited and moving forward in your business or whatever. Anybody who likes it, loves it, or comments on it, send them a message. Hey, thanks for giving me that love. I'm so excited. You know, have you thought about, or start a conversation that way? And they'll say yes or no, but it's an easy way to invite. So for me, my number one way of inviting and enrolling in the last year has been vendor events with strangers, and just doing the things I told you. If you get focused on your goals that you want when you go into one of those events or when you're posting on your timeline. And there's a lot of follow-up, but you can get them in there. So thanks for spending this time with me. Sorry if I got a little long. I was trying so hard to not go 20 minutes because there's so much to share about this. I really recommend that you look into vendor events. There's, I'm sure a whole other segment we could do about choosing the correct vendor events and not getting scammed, but get into a good vendor event, pay attention what those direct salespeople are doing, find a way to create your posts that are similar to theirs, where they'll get the same kind of passion, emotion, engagement, whatever, and then create your goals and figure out how you're going to get people into your world. Thanks so much. Have a great day. It was really nice spending this time with you.